This is the FX30 cinema line camera from Sony, crop sensor camera, as y'all know. Y'all know how much I love this camera. I just kind of want to give a brief explanation on why I like this camera from the body standpoint, from the body, the aerodynamic standpoint. I like this camera because of the quarter 20s. Most of the cameras I had, like the A6, the A7 IV, you know, even the A7S3, the A7S3, you had to put a cage on it just to get it to have some weight in case you wanted to go handheld with your shots. And sometimes I'm not a big fan of gimbals because I can't really control the camera, the moves I want to make, you know, from a spontaneity standpoint, right? And so I like to be able to handheld my cameras and kind of go with the flow of things. And so I would have to put a cage and some other stuff to give it some weight, to make it, you know, a little more weight to it. This camera is fairly light, despite what it looks like. It's got a bulky look to it and stuff like that. But I like that. It's kind of hefty. It has a fan in it, so obviously it's got some weight. But what attracted me to it when I first saw it outside of the FX3, which is the same body, so it attracted me to the FX3, and then this obviously was the quarter 20s. I really like the quarter 20s that it have on all the way around. I like those quarter 20s. I particularly like this quarter 20 right here because it allows me to put the camera on a tripod and do my vertical shots for TikTok or Instagram. And then you have the flip out screen, as you can see, that you can still see your shot, still see, you know, frame up your shot. Not so much down because, of course, the tripod is here, so you can't pull it all the way down, but enough that you could see your shot. I really like these two right here because if you decide to buy this camera and you don't want to buy it with the kit handle, which I recommend you do because of the XLRs, but if you don't and you got your own external recording system, then these come in handy because you could also always add a nano plate to it. And that way you could use your third-party handles like Small Rig and so forth. I never really got a use out of this one right here all the way to the end because for some reason, no matter if I'm using something here or I'm using something here, I never really can fit anything here. So if anybody know any real use for this spot right here, please leave something in the comments below. The comment section, and let me know and other people know if you found the real reason for this one. This one I've used a few times too, for various things, like if I want to add a microphone to the side of it, if I want it, like the cordless mics, and I just want to add a hot shoe mount and I want to have it on the side, I could put it there. It doesn't bother anything, amongst some other little things I may use it for. But primarily, these are my favorite two, the top right here and the one on the side. The next thing I really like about the body is these doors, the compartment doors. If you know anything about some of the older cameras, the doors were kind of like flimsy when you take them out. They were all over the place, and if you take something out and have to put it back, you got to move them out the way. It becomes real cumbersome after a while. You're just like, it's annoying. There's some people who have taken them off, not this one, but took off like the A7 IV and stuff like that. They took them off. But yeah, I like that because I like that about these. You know, they don't get in the way, and they're pretty sturdy. I've never had a feeling like they were gonna break or anything like that. They snap closed, so you know they're closed. And overall, I like the button layout. I like the dedicated buttons for record. You know, I like the at first, it took me a little time because I was shooting with the A7 IV at the time, and I was so used to being able to go from photo to video in a click. And I think that was clutch, and it still is clutch. I wish they had something like that on here. I really do. But they chose to go with the mode dial here, where you have to go into the mode and change between camera and video. It can be kind of annoying until you get used to it. You get used to it after a while if you really like your camera. But I like the fact that they didn't make certain things on here particularly mean anything. You know, you can use it for what you want to use it for. So even the buttons in the back, like you got your your zebra, you got your display, you got your peaking, shutter. You know, I like the fact that intuitively I can close my eyes and know my way around the camera. Sometimes though, I run through batteries because this right here, I know it's like, okay, off, on, but it always trips me out because somehow I leave this way and I forget that it's on. And so it's not until I feel something hot and I'm like, why is the camera so hot? And then it dawns on me, wait a minute, I hope I didn't leave the camera on. And sure enough, I left it on. So that could be kind of like a little weird for me because I'm used to seeing a physical on and off button, not this kind of switch. But even now, it does that to me sometimes. I lose track of where I left it. But outside of that, I mean, I like the body. I like the feeling in my hand. Y'all know from watching my channel, I'm not so much of a scientist when it comes to these things. I don't get into all of the inner workings and, you know, all of the outer space stuff. Not to say it like that, to denounce the knowledge that those guys who do that stuff have, but that's just not my channel. I don't get into all of that. And I just like the layout, man. I just want to make a video to kind of show you guys like the layout of this camera, man. You flip it out, you know what I mean? The layout of this camera is really dope. Like, I just like the layout. And I mean, I know y'all saw a gazillion videos by now talking about the FX30, the FX3, and the layout, but I kind of want to just put my take on it. Oh yeah, the zoom rocker. If y'all could see that zoom rocker right there, that's pretty dope too. Considering you have a lens that's compatible, preferably Sony lenses. If there's some other lenses that's compatible, again, leave that in the comment section below. Let me know. But I really like the zoom rocker. That's clutch because this is already a crop sensor camera. So for example, if you put a 50 millimeter on here, you're going to be at a 75, that's close considering that, you know, you're doing a talking head. That's kind of close. You got to have the camera like way back. And then let's just say that you're in a situation where you want that extra reach though. You got the zoom rocker, you know what I mean? The optical zoom, you could come in even closer and don't lose any quality. So don't worry about losing any quality with it because you're downscaling from 6K. So I'm not going to go on and on and on anymore. I just kind of want to put this out there and let y'all know if you were considering this camera and you really like it or want to check it out, I have a description. Check my description for the affiliate link I have for it, amongst some of the other stuff I use. Check it out. It's a really dope camera. I'm not being sponsored by Sony in any kind of way. So I'm just saying what I feel. No one's paying me. No money is exchanged hands. This is just a dope camera. I talk about it all the time. I love this camera because, again, it gets out of my way. I like the dual card slots. You know what I'm saying? Those are pretty dope for the redundancy if you're doing a wedding or... what I really like about them is if you want to... You could designate these for different things. Like you could record at the same time, you know, on both cards, or you could have one card record video while the other card, let me see, you could have one card record video while the other one is recording photos, right? Let's say you're doing photos, and you don't want to, when you get back to the studio, you don't want to have to filter through whatever. You could have it separate, each one. So that's pretty dope too. That's pretty dope. But I wouldn't recommend you do that if you're recording for redundancy, like a wedding, something where a person can only say it one time, like a documentary where you're only going to get this interview one time. Then I would just go with the redundancy of the camera recording at both cards at the same time. So yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say about it. Again, Cinema Line FX30 Sony. I love it. Y'all go check this camera out, man. Peace. Y'all already know I love y'all, man. I'm out.